Well, it's safe to say that it's been 24 hours since we entered 2019. And to be honest, it's been one hell of a year because of the midterm elections and the censorship going on the internet. Censorship. Now, we started this year with the Logan Paul outrage about him filming in the Okika Harbor Forest and found a dead body there. And people got mad at him because he didn't go and be like be all squeamish about it and horrified like you're supposed to do in the movies. But I guess he was kind of horrified, but not in the way that people expected to be. He kind of made light about it. And it's just really stupid outrage. Like, come on, we saw more graphic pictures on the internet than that. You can go on the internet, look up cartel killings and ISIS beheadings. You can see a lot of graphic pictures. I saw a picture or I guess a game killed a couple of guys and skinned their heads off. They did it while they while they're alive and put their face on the poles like they're mask or something. And people get mad about this because of the dead body. Obviously, we're being desensitized by this type of shit. But people are just like to be outraged. So that's what it's all about, being outraged. Now, of course, you have like the death of John McCain and George W.H. Bush. And those were like the best thing about the year. Two war hawks, two neocons, finally kicked a bucket and they're in hell getting raped. A lot of people got mad at me for jovial, being jovial about their death. I was like happy about George H. W. Bush dying. Someone commented him, about me celebrating about him dying. It's like, what? What kind of evil things that he did that warrant you to celebrate his death before his body gets cold? You know, when rigor mortis sets in. And I told him about him being the progenitor of this interventionism that we're doing in the Middle East, puking on the Japanese prime ministers and whatnot. Of course, he was one of the progenitors of NAFTA, and Clinton supported it. Don't forget about Billy Boy Clinton in support of it. And he rationalized this idea of equivalent of somebody witnessing a rape going on and not doing anything about it. Why should we get involved in Middle East politics? Yeah, we got involved in Iraq twice, and look what happened to it. It's even worse than it was before we overthrew Saddam. The country became more stable, and it became a hotbed for ISIS. You know, Al Qaeda wasn't in in Iraq until we overthrew Saddam, because Saddam would execute these people and whatnot. And ever since then, the And of course, we had to go in and get rid of Saddam Hussein, even though Dickhead Cheney said it was going to be a quagmire pass. And there's been more on, because of that, the country's been more unstable. Same thing with Libya. We went into Libya, and Libya is far worse than it was before. You know, with the Arab Spring, which is just a religious fundamentalist spring, the Islamic fascist spring, or jihadist spring. That's what it was before. Luckily, most of it has been stopped. And don't forget about Syria, because we got involved there too. Luckily, Trump has pulled out of Syria, which is one of the good things. I'll get to that later. And the country's starting to stabilize. People talk about barrel bombs, but yeah, that's what Assad had to resort to. Don't get me wrong, but Assad is a authoritarian figure, but I guess authoritarian light. And I guess Assad and the Ba'ath Party are trying to keep the country stable. Which also, one thing about Syria is that Trump decided to pull out of Syria. And I think he's pulling out of Afghanistan as well. And probably Iraq. For good, I hope. Because we don't need to be in the Middle East. Like I said, we fucked up those countries. Look what we done to Iraq and Libya. They're like the worst place to live in, and I already explained that to you. And I don't think we can bring stability in Afghanistan. Just let it deal with its own problems. And I think it's a good thing that Trump is pulling out. Hopefully, we don't have any more interventionist war or any nation-building conflict, occupied invasion. Like, that was one of the worst things the United States did. In fact, Trump's foreign policy seems to be much better. If you don't believe me, look at North Korea. North Korea has I guess Trump has managed to get North Korea to dismantle their nuclear programs. A couple of their sites have been dismantled. Obama, Bush, and Clinton couldn't do it. In fact, Clinton's the reason why North Korea had nuclear material in the first place. Because he gave them the nuclear material in thinking that they're just going to use it to power their cities. And of course, they kicked all the inspectors out and started building bombs. Bush did nothing. Obama did nothing and got disgraced by it. Of course, one thing about Obama is that his foreign policy sucked as well. Just look what happened to Ukraine. Ukraine pretty much lost the Crimea Peninsula because of that. Because Obama refused to admit Ukraine and what I'm saying is Obama refused to admit Ukraine in the NATO alliance, which is kind of like the modern day hegemony. You know, pro-European unionists like to talk about how great the European Union is, but they forget about the NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which these European Union countries are part of. But yeah, Trump has been doing better with foreign policies. Hopefully we get this border wall going. And I'm fine with the government's shutdown. Maybe I'll talk about the government shutdown another time. Also 2018 is what I like to refer to as honest horribilis when it comes to the internet, and of course what happened with the gubernatorial election in California. Because the reason I say that is because 2018 was the year of the internet censorship. We've been constantly seeing people being censored left and right, you know. And this is not just like right-wing content, people that are conservative, libertarian, or I guess tradcons. This is also happening to people who lean towards the left, like Sargon. I guess Casey Neistat, or however Neistat, and even progressives like Progressive Voice got censored and all that. Because the reason why this is happening, as I think, is that the mainstream media, the legacy media, you know, the newspapers and the cable media, fourth estate journalism, finds fifth estate journalism a threat. This including other internet media organizations, which is the fifth estate, like Vice and BuzzFeed, Vox, you know, I guess you can say the mollusk media, which I'm just going to use the term mollusk media to refer to these organizations. They've been hyped up they've been like hyped up over censorship because they're going after regular YouTubers who do news, do like news report and stuff, like Sargon, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer, and etc. Because these guys, they do better news. They kind of prove that you don't need a degree in journalism, which is just a piece of paper or parchment, to prove that you can be a journalist. But that's what they're doing. They're going after people because the legacy media does not want competition. Plus, ever since the 2016 election, we're starting to see this. For instance, Patreon. We saw Sargon of Akkad get kicked out of Patreon. I think Jihad Watch and Lawrence Southern got banned from Patreon, so this explains it all, and I see a couple of people got kicked off of YouTube and Twitter. And the people that support this are the jack bootlickers, the authoritarians themselves, you know. The guys who suck dick to the authority who dictates what people can do or not do. Because of this, these people are worse. There's an old saying, who's more foolish, the fool or the people that fool the fool? In this case, I think the worst aspect of the people who support censorship are the ones who follow the authoritarians, who believe that they're doing this for good. In reality, they're pretty much the ones who are destroying the internet, probably destroying their own chance of having free speech. So they have to, basically, they want to create a future where they are going to be censored. You probably have to whisper when they do when they have a conversation, because you never know that the man be listening in. And of course, these followers of the fools are the ones who doing this with good intention, bringing themselves that future. And I guess it's one of those situations where the the highway to hell is paved with good intention, just like the great societies, the war on poverty, all had good intentions, but they're leading, but instead they just lead people to hell. And the only thing we gotta do about this censorship is to fight back. And I think that's one thing this New Year's is that we gotta fight back against censorship. That includes no more interpersonal drama. Like I hear like interpersonal drama stuff about Monday Matt, I guess Mr. Metter and whatnot. And I want nothing to do with that. I'm no longer doing that type of shit. And we gotta stop this interpersonal drama, or otherwise we lose the censorship war and the authoritarians get what they want. Also, another reason why they're doing this is because someone can find and report what the government is doing so that, well, let's just say about war footages and truth what's going on there. The government keeps people from looking at war footages because they don't want people to get offended by it. Or another thing is that the government is doing something that they don't want the public to know. Of course, people on the internet could expose that, and that could be a problem for the government. So they're trying to censor the internet. They also want the internet to be censored. That's why, if you think, and I ask for further information, if you think the government cares about the people, you gotta be the most stupidest person in the world. Because the government does not care. You know, we have all these taxes in California, and people are told that these taxes will go to highway development, public infrastructure. In reality, it just goes to the government and its bureaucrats. That's the people that benefit most from these taxes we got. Like, we don't need another fuel tax, but I guess people like paying taxes. Which this will take me to which we will talk about the midterm elections in California, especially the gubernatorial elections. Now, back in the midterms, I voted no on the propositions that does rent control. I also voted yes on Prop 6, if that's what I'm thinking. Now, one proposition, the rent control proposition, has failed to pass. Which that's good because, you know, rent control is just one of those band-aid on a gaping wound situation. And I think people in California realize that. So I guess that's a step further for California. But the Prop 6 failed to pass. Which Prop 6 was supposed to do is that it is supposed to get rid of the gas tax, fuel tax, so gas could be cheaper. The reason why we have this gas tax is because Jerry Brown says that we need it for our road infrastructure. In reality, it's for that pork barrel project, the bullet train, and probably more money for the bureaucrats as well as the politicians up in Sacramento. But unfortunately, it failed because I guess people like to live in poverty in California. And I guess that's the only thing they know. There are two types of people in California. The very wealthy elite, like the celebrities and the politicians, and everybody in the third class. There is no middle class, just upper and lower class, like in medieval society. And people keep voting in for more government handouts like it's going to do anything. You know, like socialism. You go and see what a typical Californian wants. They want socialism. And meanwhile, the people in the state of California that are grossly underrepresented are the ones who are in the rural areas. The rural part of the states are grossly underrepresented. So they get all the shit. In fact, if you think about it, California is probably number one in poverty, beating Mississippi. You know what that means? Do you know how much that means for Mississippi to be bumped off first place? Because of Jerry Brown's policy making, and the politics made it to a point where people are living in poverty, where there's a lot of homeless camps everywhere. Like you go down to 12th and Imperial, you can see a lot of homeless people walking around East Village. There's just homeless upon homeless folks. They're just begging. Other times, they're just sitting around talking to themselves or masturbating in front of somebody, which is what they do all the time. It's kind of funny because we need to take in, like, immigrants from Central America here. We need to become a sanctuary state in here, but we got a large homeless population. It's even hit worse in Central California, the Central Valley, which I think most of them probably voted for Cox because they're the ones who are getting all the homeless folks. They're the ones who get affected the most negatively with these stupid policies. And as for the gubernatorial election, it doesn't help that Gavin Newsom's going to be our next governor. And he's going to be worse. And he's just as bad as Jerry Brown. I guess a fifth term Jerry Brown, you can call him. So that's all I gotta say about 2018. So what do we expect for the rest of the year? Well, Gavin Newsom's going to be coronated next week on the 6th or 7th of July, and he'll be coronated as governor, and I guess all the stupid policies that Jerry Brown has supported, like legalization of infecting people with AIDS without their consent, and, well, knowing the fact that you have AIDS or HIV, that water law, where we have to use 55 gallons of water a day, it's still going to happen because Gavin Newsom is one of those elites who support these laws. Now, I'm not looking forward for 2020 because of that. Oh yes, that water law gets worse. I think we're supposed to use 50 gallons of water by 2024 or 2025. So yeah, it's gonna get worse in California. This is why I tell people they need to move out. And I also ridicule people. I also ridicule people for moving into California just to rip their, just to make them feel like shit or make them feel like suckers. uh, and and let me tell you about the 55 gallons of water law. Maybe it's feasible for one person, but if you have a house full of 8 individuals, two parents and I guess the rest are children, 6 children or something like that, it's gonna be impossible to do. But hey, at least we got enough water water to water the 500 acre lawns that the celebrities have, for the golf courses that the celebrities and their lawyers to play lawyer ball along with the politicians. At least we got that, but also we might be looking forward for more shitty laws that Newsom's going to be passing. Now, if he becomes a do-nothing governor, maybe I'll grant him as the best governor for doing nothing. But I doubt that's going to be the case. After all, he's the one who's also a gun control nut, a gun grabber who wants to take people's guns away. And a lot of Californians love that. They like being disarmed, being impoverished, being miserable. The entire state is masochistic. Only a few people hate this shit. And I'm expecting things to get worse in California because of that. Now, if Gavin Newsom did something stupid in his first term, like embezzle money for himself or all that, that's not going to make any difference. Just a different asshole. You know where I'm going, but yeah, that's all I gotta say about 2012. I mean, 2018, and about this new year. I'm Wicked Wonka. I want you to subscribe to my channels and comment on my videos. So, I'm Wicked Wonka. I'm signing out.